I would say truly equitable access for all students. Equitable access. I want to really emphasize that. Access for all students. If you could really design the perfect educational world, in my opinion, that would be regardless of where you live, regardless of any type of home life situation you have or any of those types of things, you have that access to the high level areas of interest that you have. You can then bring all students' dreams to reality if you could, or at least let them have an open playground to learn and all those things.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Paul Hungerford. Paul is the superintendent at Gratiot Isabella Regional Educational Service District, and that's in Ithaca, Michigan, which is only about, 45 minutes from where I raised my kids.
Absolutely.
We were backyard neighbors, didn't even realize it. So, Paul, it's so good to have you here. So thanks for being here.
Janet, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to our time together.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what's going on at Gratiot Isabella and about your background.
Yeah, you're right. But happy to. Gratiot Isabella RSD is located right in Ithaca, Michigan, and then but both two-county region. So we're a regional agency. We support 9 public school districts, K-12 school districts. We have 3 public school academies that we also support, and a handful of parochial schools that we support in the world of special education services. And we service approximately 12,000 students. So rural Michigan, literally in the middle of cornfields. Agriculture is very big in our region, along with manufacturing. And so therefore one of our cornerstone programs that we have is career technological education, CTE, programming in both counties. We're blessed with centers in both counties, offer a variety of pathways of exposure for our students. We have a very robust special education system, and program that is very intentional, with center-based programming for our most vulnerable and needed students. Very proud of all those works and programs. We just 3 years ago, we mirrored those programs in both of our counties. And so essentially we have classrooms for each program in each county. So transportation for our students is manageable. Plus a plethora of other supports and services that we offer here at the RESD. Myself personally, I have a unique story from how I got to this point. And so a Cliff Note version of that is, I graduated from, as you alluded to, where you raised your children. Where I grew up was probably about a half hour from there, north of Jackson, Michigan, small town called Fowler. I graduated with a large class of 45 students,
Wow.
No, we literally know everyone in the high school and all those other things. And right away, my girlfriend at the time, upon graduation, we found out we were expecting. And so we got married, 19 and 20 years old. And,
Wow.
and so then for those 10 years, for the next 10 years, I stayed involved in education by coaching. I love athletics, but was in the middle of raising a family. Had to, my wife and I had to go down that journey of being parents right away at a very young age, and worked in the private sector, various jobs for 10 years. Had some success. And then my wife said, "You're happiest when you're working with children." And so with 2 children at that time, we decided together that I'd go back to school. And I had a bachelor's degree in business at the time, but to go to education, I had to do another 4 years. So knocked out 4-year program in 2. Found a local college that allowed me to do that. Basically, I don't know, didn't sleep much during those couple of years.
Not,
And my wife, a lot of ways, was a single mother, allowing me to go back to work or go back to school. Able to get into public education in my hometown. Served as an athletic director and a part-time athletic director, if there's such a thing. But again, small school, taught 4 hours a day. And then went from there. I was there 10 years, then went from there to a district in our region currently, another small school, but served as middle school, high school principal. Ran into some budget issues, became superintendent / middle school an high school principal and special ed advisor or
Wow.
administrator. And then 5 years ago, got blessed with this opportunity to serve in my current capacity as superintendent of Gratiot Isabella RASD. And, that's the Cliff Note version of it. It was an interesting ride and not a non-traditional ride, but one I'm very proud of. And I feel like has really molded me to be the person I am today.
That's great. That is so great. And you are a success story because that getting married so young like that and pregnant right out of high school and those are tough things to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I owe, the biggest gratitude is I owe to my wife. I mean that, at that age, you sacrifice certain dreams and things like that
Mm.
and she was fully ready to immerse into a 4-year college experience, wanting to be a CPA at the time. And quite honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to be coming out of school. Truthfully, sports is such a big piece of my life that I thought, oh, can I go play college football? Can I go do some of those other things? But yeah, life throws you some situations sometimes. And, like God rest his soul, but my dad, he's been gone almost 30 years now, but he told me at the time, he goes, son, he goes, you're entering being an adult. Let's go. You got to go to work. Roll your
Yeah.
sleeves up, go to work. So we both did that. But my wife has been the cornerstone for the last 32 years. And, I'm indebted to her forever. She's the one that really allowed me to go, to create my path. And she's very successful too, but never did get that bachelor's degree, has an associate's degree. But, 32 years later, here we are. And
Yeah.
our, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Awesome. And that's an inspiration to others. It's about hard work. It's about rolling up your sleeves, like you said, getting it done every day, getting out of bed, doing the right thing. My daughter this year for Christmas got my husband a shirt and said, my father, the man that always came home with the milk. So,
We go. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. You got to love those father gifts or mother gifts that you get from your kids. They're timely and they're intuitive all in the same.
yeah,
Yeah,
they get it. They get it. It's hard work. It's funny you say that because my husband did the same thing. Well, it wasn't the same way, but he didn't have a degree at an associate's degree when we married. And I told him, I said, he used to get really frustrated because he's like, nobody listens to me. I said, honey, you need that degree. I have a master's. I met him when I got my master's, right? I had just finished up my master's. I was working on my clinical fellowship year as an SLP and I met Mike and he had his an associate's degree and he was a skilled laborer and he's so smart. My husband's now my CTO. He's just really an amazing man. I'm 30 years. We were married 30 years, but he went back to school. He got laid off in the middle of the 8-9 recession, went back to school, had a program in Michigan so that he could go back to school. Grateful for that program and got his degree in computers, and then the rest is history. And it's the same thing. It's like we work when you're a partner, you fight through it together, all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and that's what you do. So kudos to both of you for fighting for your marriage, fighting for your kids, and look where you are. It's just, it's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about what kinds of things have you done there? Like, what are some of your wins, as a superintendent there?
Yeah. The wins happen daily. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's the truth. Our wins happen when we're having this conversation. And really, that's the one thing that we're really trying to collectively focus on here as a team, as an organization, as we provide supports and services to over 200 students directly. Our most vulnerable students that need the highest level of need and all of those things. And our staff, we have about 315 employees in the RASD. Roughly about 85% of those individuals work directly with our students as a parapro, itinerant staff, teachers, all those very, very critical and important roles. So success is happening every day. I'm proud of the work that, and support and services that our staff provides to those students and our families on a daily basis. And we're a little bit different here. So we don't, in my office, I don't look out. I look out my window and I see a bowling alley, and I'm appreciative of the bowling alley, but we don't have a campus where we have our own buildings. So all of our center-based programs are embedded in our local school districts. And so when it comes to inclusion with same age peers and those types of things, it's natural for us because our local school districts welcome our students, welcome our classrooms. They become part of their culture as a school. And so it's a little bit of a challenge for me to, I can't just walk across the parking lot and say, I want to go see our kids. I've got to
Right.
drive somewhere in the surrounding area, which is absolutely fine. So seeing those successes, those, getting invited to a transitional student's graduation when they're 26 years old is amazing. We have a student that has started his own company, designing coloring books for kids. It's just amazing. So, and then different supports and services within with assistive speaking devices that we were one of the first ISDs in Michigan to fully implement the program of assisted speaking devices. And probably one of the most emotionally moving experiences in my life is when I happened to be with one of our students when I was at a local district, and one of the RSD staff brought that assisted speaking device in, and the staff member from the RSD had been working with the student. The parent knew that they were working with their student, but never saw it. Well, they came in for an IEP and they showed. It was the first time that the parent saw or heard a thought come from their child.
Oh, wow.
Powerful. Beyond
Yeah.
powerful. Tears of joy,
Yeah, for sure.
So, those successes, I feel like we are always on the verge of the most appropriate newer technology. That's one thing I pride ourselves on too, whether it's direct support to our students or whether it's, support region wide. For example, we were one of the first ISDs in the state to employ a full-time person to help navigate the new world of AI and help them efforts across all, and our board was very supportive of going out on a limb. We didn't really even have a job description because we're building the plane as it flies type thing.
Yeah.
So it's the ability to be innovative that way. But really I get immersed into the daily small wins that are happening all the time. Those are success stories happening all day long. And I just want to encourage our staff to share those stories with me and invite me in. Because I'm in lots of meetings all day long, but it helps me with my why. Here's why I spend so many hours a day in a meeting. I want to be in there with those students as long as I can and as often as I can. So those types of successes, both in our special education program and in our CTE programs, we graduate, there's about 1,000 students in our CTE programs, and it's just juniors and seniors. And so that access with multiple career pathways is another point of pride for us. And then our expanded services that we provide local school districts in areas of business and finance, technology, human resources, pupil accounting, all the above. It's become a robust organization. So I'm extremely proud of all of it. We are always looking for ways to improve, and we have our challenges in front of us, but we celebrate the success stories more than bringing light to the challenges, because we want to make those challenges into success stories, if that makes sense.
Occupational therapy shouldn't be one more thing on your plate. It should be a solution. Lighthouse Therapy offers school-based occupational therapy services that actually work for you and your staff. Our OTs have an average of 16 years of experience in schools, and they support everything from handwriting to fine motor to sensory integration. And you can choose from 3 different service models, whether it be virtual, hybrid, or in person. It's OT that fits your workflow without the chaos. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to learn more. No, absolutely. Absolutely. That, it's funny that you say that, that you want to hear the stories, because as I told you before we went on, I'm a speech therapist for 31 years. You never stop being a teacher. You never stop being a therapist. You never stop. And yet we have taken ourselves where we're not day to day in front of the kids, but the critical role that you and I both do it's impossible to have those wins without the work that we do. And it's hard for those of us that have a heart for those kids because we know how critical it is, but we don't get to do the day to day. So, but you, like me, I'm a CEO, but I'm not a 10,000 foot CEO. I want to know what's happening. I want to make sure that my staff knows that I'm here and I care and it matters. What you're doing matters. The hardest day for me as a CEO was the day that because I started the company. I'm an entrepreneur. I never thought I'd be any of those things, but God has his way and I followed. So, but I was our first SLP. I hired myself to do it. The hardest day for me at this company was the day I had to stop because I wasn't being effective as an SLP and I wasn't being effective as a CEO, trying to split that fence. And I could not, and it became very clear. And I never wanted to do either of them badly. So I gave it up. I became, and I can serve, we have 230 kids right now, that Lighthouse is serving. And I could only serve 55. So in this role, and over the life of this company, I think we're at like 14,000 kids that we've served. So you can't, it's just like and you can't touch that, right? So you're talking about 12,000 students that you're serving in the things that you do and compound that times the amount of years that you've been in this role. That's 60,000 kids probably. It's a cool thing. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah. When you step back and you think about it all, and I think that's the thing that sometimes educators don't give themselves permission to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is to step back. It's really hard because we're in a service and profession and we're really used to putting others in front of ourselves and so you don't take that time to step back, reflect all those things. And as, too, you and I were talking before recording, you kind of blink, or at least I did. I blinked, and it's like, wow, I kind of got a pretty deep level of experience under. There's more mileage in the rearview mirror from this aspect in my career than in the windshield in some ways. In this way, right? And it's like, wow, where'd that time go? And I think it goes so fast because there is a gratification of putting others in front of you. But at the same time, as I'm getting older and things, I am giving myself permission. I really think it is a permissible thing of, all right, take some quiet time and reflect on your career or just even on the day or on the week and go, okay, there were some challenges through that week or that day and the challenges are still there, but wow, what are those successes? Or, if you make just a microscopic impact on an individual's life, that's pretty gratifying and pretty enlightening when you take time to think about it over the course of years. And it's just something that it really just makes you feel good, and it also keeps you re-energized or energized to keep doing the work, right? And how powerful it can be and how self-fulfilling, how fulfilling it is. And, and I truly do believe that this is why, this is what I'm intended to be where I am, just like, the good Lord has put me in places where it's meant to be. I don't question it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And all of those little wins, people hear Paul well, because there's days when it's hard. There's days when you feel like you've got the mountain on your shoulders, but you're making a difference every single day. Every single day you get up and you go to work and you serve the kids that you're serving in that crazy classroom or in that, whatever the situation is you are in education. Do not let this world pull you down, because it'll try. It absolutely will try. But you are making so many impacts in so many different ways that you'll never see. I'll never know all of the impact I've made. Not on this side of heaven. On the other side of heaven, I'm looking forward to that day, but not soon. I don't want to do it yet. But truly, you're paying it forward, and paying it forward matters. It really does.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you never know. Like I tell people, I was on a phone call that I couldn't sit down before joining you, and our students will come and they will, we're basically, the way our offices are set up is our conference centers and our administrative offices. I'm not in my office very often, because I want to be out. I want to be immersed, like you were talking about. I want to be in it. And so to be in it, you can't, it's hard to be behind your desk, and there's times where you have to be. But anyway, in short, once a week, our students come and they assist with recycling and doing some of those things. And I tell them, and today was a rare exception. And I had a couple of my buddies looking through my window, wondering if Mr. Hungerford was going to come out and fist bump them, say hi, what have you. And some of those students, the majority of them, depending on which classroom's coming, they're nonverbal. They say a million words with their eyes. Their smile, a half hug, whatever it is. I will get up out of meetings. If it's just somebody in person in a meeting, I'll say, excuse me, I'm going to go talk to the kids for a minute, because I don't get to see them every day. And with individuals, adults and students alike, you never know what a good morning, a good afternoon, or how are you doing today? That can go a long, long way. You never know what people are carrying. And so just that daily courtesy, respect, engagement, you get so much from that. And I've gotten so much more from the students I've worked with and the staff that I've worked with than I will ever be able to pay forward. That's the truth too. I'm a blessed human being, that's for sure.
Awesome. So, Paul, where do people go to find out more about Gratiot Isabella, and maybe even a little bit more about you?
Yeah. So to go a little more about our organization, we're on X and Twitter and Facebook and those things. So Gratiot Isabella RESD. To access us on the internet, www.giresd.net is a place to go see our site, and we have a nice Thrill Share supported website that has live feeds of different things, the different events that are going on, and try to tell our story in those ways, of share our success stories and things. There's where you can find out about the RESD, and truthfully, and about our locals as well. I want to really encourage people that if you really want to find out about Gratiot Isabella RESD, visit our local schools' websites through our website. And that's where you see the impact of hopefully the supports that we're providing for our local districts to enable them to do the great work that they're doing for those 12,000 students. We have roughly 200 students here that are their students that we're really focusing in on our resources as an RSD to support those high needs, but it's getting immersed into those communities, learn about those communities. As far as me, quite honestly, those are the best sites, because you Google me, you're only going to get a couple things. It's just, that's where that's at. But I am on social media as far as Twitter or X. I do engage on there. I'm always looking to gain connections in the field of education or leadership. Leadership's just a passion of mine. I just love learning from individuals. And like today, we're recording this podcast, but prior to this, I've had 7 different conversations in 7 different realms of topics. And 6 of the 7 were with people I haven't met before. And it's just amazing. That's the gift that I get in doing this work. As much as I miss being a teacher and being directly connected with students every day, I get to build those connections to do what's best for all students, and not only here in this region, but through my work with our state associations too, for the state of Michigan, to the best of my ability. And that's very humbling and gratifying work.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. One last question. Okay. So if you could miraculously solve one issue in your realm, and it can't be money, what would that one thing be?
I would say truly equitable access for all students. Equitable access. I want to really emphasize that. Access for all students. If you could really, design the perfect educational world, in my opinion, it would be regardless of where you live, regardless of, any type of home life situation you have, or any of those types of things, you have that access to the high level areas of interest that you have. You can then bring all students' dreams to to reality if you could, or at least let them have an open playground to learn and all those things. That would be phenomenal, and it really is just that equitable access, because sometimes sometimes you're just confined to where you're at, and you make the most of where you're at, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, that would be just phenomenal if there was a way to do that, and just be able to ebb and flow and just be able to be like water through rocks, right? And be able to go that way. So that'd be one dream that would be just phenomenal. That would.
Awesome. That's a great answer. That's a great answer, Paul. Well, Paul, this has been an amazing conversation. I thank you for your time and for your passion. It's clear that Gratiot Isabella is blessed to have you. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for this opportunity. It's been a blessing. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're brighter together, aren't we?
Absolutely, 100%.